and welcome to the latest episode of the series of videos around about this new book, The Potent Power of Menopause. And I'm super thrilled to have with me today the amazing Laarni Mulvey. And my goodness me, this woman is a complete inspiration. She's known as the Power Lady, and I will drop in an image in this, and you'll see it on screen, of her lifting the most incredible weights. Hello.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
Oh, it's so fantastic that you are here. A true power lady indeed. Now, your chapter is called Strong and Happy. And before we talk about anything else, could you give me a little bit about your chapter, please?
Sure. So again, thank you for having me. My chapter is called Strong and Happy because as I am called the Power Lady, I use my strength, I share it with others. I use that visual of being strong as part of me being happy, and I refuse to let people steal my joy, and that's why it's Strong and Happy. But I'm happy because I had the choice to be childless. I chose to be childless even when I was younger, but also chose the sport of powerlifting and strongman to be an addition to my happiness. And that's why I call it Strong and Happy.
Wowza. Blimey. So absolutely, I think that there's so much for us to talk about that, gosh, squeezing it into this very short video is going to be difficult. So let's go back to that first point there that you made. Did you always want to be childless? Was it at what point was that choice made?
Sure. So I was born in the Philippines, moved to the States when I was 5, and I grew up Asian in America, and there was that underlying cultural expectation that a female should always be a mother or should have a child or be married because that's going to be the most fulfilling part of your life. And as I was growing up, there was that, I didn't see the representation that I wanted to see of an Asian American woman doing things. But as I got older, I never thought about kids when I was 5. I mean, there are some people who are like, realize, you know what, I'm going to be a mother when I am 25. And for me, when 25 passed, and I still wasn't married, I still didn't have kids, I thought that was it. It was never really a focus of mine. I never said, you know what, I'm going to be a mother and I'm going to have a child. I lived my life. And I always realized that if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah. And
I still live that today, so I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible for me to have a child, but it's not something that I'm just like, you know what, let's do this. Let's do this.
This is what I'm gonna do.
Yes. and I don't feel guilty. I don't. All the questions that I got growing up, like, oh, you'd be a great mother, and why don't you have any kids? Or I did have someone ask me if I was a lesbian when I was younger because I didn't have kids, and I wasn't married, and I didn't have a boyfriend. So there were those assumptions being childless in my 20s and 30s that maybe she, and it was just ridiculous. And I would answer, yeah, I just don't want any.
Tell me, Laarni, how does menopause and strength go together? I mean, these are big things in your life. Menopause is big in every woman's life, but you have this amazing, the strength, sport, powerlifting, however people want to identify it, but you've got the two together in your life. So yeah. How do they go together?
They go together because it not only keeps my body physically strong to go through the process of menopause, and we get the brittle bones and we get to me, it's like regulated myself physically. It's regulated. My eating is regulated. My body. I've become comfortable and okay with the 230 pounds I carry. And even though oh my God, you're overweight, this is me. That menopause portion doesn't define me.
No.
It is a process I'm going through, sure, but it does not define me, does not define my perception of myself. And it goes together, that strength physically does keep my mind strong as well, because I don't deal with a lot of crap. I don't deal with a lot of crap. And back when I was younger, it took you deal with a lot of crap, you deal with it, and don't say anything. But now it's, what's your problem?
Yeah.
Tell me what you need, instead of and I think that the menopause actually built my confidence a little bit along with the strength portion. And I don't feel that it's been a negative thing for me. So I use it as my strength. I share it with people. I lift as much as I can, and it's become a community for me that has built through strength, and menopause just happens to be a part of it. Again, it's a part of me. It doesn't define me.
So I think an important point to make here, Laarni, is and that so that people know, is that you've been doing this for a relatively short period of time, and now it sits at the very core of who you are, the strength sport. So
yes,
can you give us a little bit of information about that? Because there will be people who are watching this who think, hey, I might do that.
So I started lifting heavy in 2019, and I did not realize that my body was capable of doing the strength sports that I have come to love and be passionate about. And I've dabbled in the sports and the weights when I was younger with my mom, but it wasn't the way, it didn't affect me the way it does now. When 2019, when I first touched the barbell and I was deadlifting like 225, I thought that was amazing. Yeah. But now I have a record in Illinois for 402 pounds, and I've done 470, and it is just amazing that it took me all this time, all that 20s, all my 30s, to realize in my 40s during menopause that I'm capable. My body is capable of so many things. And like my powerlifting coach has told me before, that we've only scratched the surface of what I can do. And that gets in my head. I'm just like, I can do more. I can do more. So it's like, oh my God. And that, I think that's this is the exciting chapter of my life at the moment, because I never realized what I can do, because I was living somebody else's expectations. I was living somebody else's standards. Yeah. And now I'm building my own blueprint. I'm building my road. And it happens to include strength sports.
Yeah. Wow. So why did you want to be part of this book, Laarni? Because I mean, it's unusual. It's a collection of women and a man from around the world who are giving their perspective, their journeys. I mean, it might seem obvious why you wanted to be a part of this, but could you give us a bit?
Sure. Yes. So when I was approached to write it, to be a contributor with the book, I am so passionate about strength that I wanted to share this perspective of strength. I wanted to share don't have children and this strength sports together. I feel like it's important because, like you were saying, I mean, we are all going through something. The women are going through something, but the perspectives are different. There could be someone else out there that is just like me, who is feeling like they need to have children, or they need to have it's really, you can find something else. Like I happen to find strength sports, and again, it doesn't define me. It's part of who I am, but I've just embraced it more and I've gotten passionate about it. And that is where I want to make sure that other women, other people understand that there are choices. You have a choice to have children. You have a choice to get married. You have a choice. And strength sports was my choice.
I think, gosh, I mean, it's incredible that you all the choices that led you to this point, but equally that during your menopause, you picked up a sport which is incredibly physically challenging. Incredibly so. You didn't decide to do, a bit of nice walking. You decided to do strength sport.
Yes. And I know I'm not the only one. We are writing these chapters of our lives that are new and are exciting, and we are not done yet. Like women who do strength sports, especially some, and I'm just focusing on the women because there are, I've met so many older women, and the main thing is they are writing their own chapter of their lives because they are technically childless now. Their kids are grown. They're, they're out of the house. They're by themselves. And now this is the time where they are focusing on themselves, and they are lighting up because they're seeing their own capabilities too that they never touched in their 20s or 30s, because that was when they were having their children. And this chapter is so exciting, and the community around it is so exciting and supportive.
And I think that's an interesting point about the community of women around strength sport, because we have a social perception that it's a very male-dominated sport and that there isn't much for women. But you're saying that there's a whole community there to welcome women in.
Yes, there is a huge, huge community when it comes to strength sport. There's powerlifting groups, there's strong men groups, there's old ladies lift groups. And when you come into those groups, it is so it's very supportive because it's relatable. Everyone has a thing. Some of us have menopause. Some of us are on their end stages of menopause. Oh, beginning, and I got osteo. I have arthritis. It's just that really big group. We all kind of complain to each other, but then we go, that was a good lift. That's a great lift. That's great. What kind of singlet are you wearing? And it's that kind of community that makes someone feel comfortable in their own skin, because when we compete, we have to wear these one pieces that show every roll, everything. And then we sometimes pee on the platform. It's very supportive. We're just like, oh, well, you peed on the platform. Great. Whatever. Just wipe it up. Just keep moving on. And that is part of the mindset that strength gives us. Just, it doesn't define you. You did it. Cool. Time to move on.
It's amazing how that mindset, that strength of physicality then weaves its way into your mindset, into your way of being, into your determination, into everything about you.
Yes. And that's where that power lady comes from, because that power comes from inside me. But the strength that the power gives, there's that strength through the power of the things that I do. And part of being included in this book is sharing that strength with everyone who reads my chapter.
And I think that's a fabulous place to end. So thank you, Laarni. Oh my goodness me, this woman is amazing. She is a force to be reckoned with. The Power Lady, strong and happy, an amazing chapter. Please buy the book. Please read this chapter. It's extraordinary. That's The Potent Power of Menopause. It's out now. There'll be a link down in the comments for you to go and actually purchase the book on Amazon. Or any other place for that matter. So please subscribe, and I will see you soon.